Katy Perry, I just want to congratulate you on being the first astronaut to sing in space for real.
Thanks, Jeff. It was one small step for women, one giant leap for my lifetime's tour. By the way, it's Captain Perry now. I know you're just a simple businessman, but I went to space for real. That makes me Space Captain Perry.
Excuse me, Captain. Hello? We have a problem. You need to get down here right away. All right, we'll be right there. What's the problem?
Please, Jeff. You don't know as much about this stuff as I do. I sang in space for real, after all. So what's the problem?
Man, for some reason I feel dumb around you. Anyway, when you sang in space, alien communication satellites picked up the sound waves.
And they loved it. I knew I felt a connection when I was in space for real. I sensed the magic of the universe coursing through my foof.
No, they transmitted this message to us.
Greetings. I am Superlin, captain of the non-binary from the planet Endopharma. My species is gender fluid, so our pronouns can morph from Z-Zim to bleep blorp at any moment. And we pee out of our big green jugs. When we heard Katy Perry sing, it was triggering for us. I mean, who the hell makes a real spaceflight about themselves by trying to sing to an entire planet without consent?
I'm much better now that the ladies are back from space.
What were they up there, 10 minutes? Well, yeah, and I also think it's fun to see somebody who has no self-awareness.
It's so cringy.
Katy Perry didn't just go to space. She came back down and tried to rebrand herself as a cosmic guru. But what was meant to be a groundbreaking moment for women in space turned into one of the most mocked events of the year. And then Joe Rogan got involved. What he said wasn't just brutal, it was surgical. Katy's PR dream turned into a nightmare, and the fallout hasn't stopped since.
Along with PR experts who are claiming the singer may face career extinction.
Katy Perry, alongside Gail King and Sánchez, boarded Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin capsule for what was promoted as a historic, all-female flight to space. It lasted 11 minutes. The media covered it like a moon landing. Oprah cried. Katy cried too. She kissed the dirt like she had just survived Interstellar. The message? This was a profound spiritual awakening.
To going up, you said that you needed to go to space to heal. I know you're only a few minutes removed from this.
I feel super connected to love.
Goodness. I will never be the same.
But the internet wasn't buying it. It saw something else. 3 celebrities floating in a billionaire's vanity project, treating a luxury elevator ride as if it were a war zone comeback. And Katy wasn't just emotional. She declared the flight the second most powerful moment of her life, right after childbirth. Not performing at the Super Bowl, not building a global music career, floating for 11 minutes in a capsule that ran on autopilot.
She essentially took a roller coaster ride.
Well, it was very profound. I don't know if you've seen Katy Perry talk about it, but she's basically a guru now.
Then came the podcast heard around the internet. Joe Rogan sat across from Tim Dillon and shredded the entire event. His tone, not angry, just baffled. What were her findings? He asked with that classic dry stare. No outrage, just confusion. Gail King talking like she was a cosmic pioneer. Sánchez declaring unity from inside a luxury rocket, and Katy Perry sounding like the Dalai Lama in a spacesuit. Rogan didn't even have to insult them. His disbelief was enough.
Please don't call it a ride. That is not a friggin' ride. Whenever a man goes up, no one called that a ride. It was called a flight. It was called a journey, because a ride implies that it's something frivolous.
He questioned everything. The symbolism, the daisy, the speeches, and most of all, the claim that they were astronauts. According to Rogan, it wasn't a journey. It wasn't empowerment. It was a billionaire joyride dressed up in hashtags and hope. From the moment she landed, Katy launched into what looked more like a soft rebrand than a space recap. She brought a literal daisy with her to represent resilience. She spoke about Earth like she had discovered it. She said she was now spiritually connected to love. She even claimed she'd inspired women and girls everywhere to believe they could do it too. Except they can't, because they're not friends with Jeff Bezos.
It's so much money to go to space. Yeah. There's a lot of people who can't even afford eggs. What are they going to do up there that has made it better for us down here?
Olivia Wilde reposted an image of Katy Perry kissing the ground. She was acting like she got back from Apollo 13.
Every photo looked staged. Every quote sounded like it had been workshopped in a PR boardroom. "I will never be the same," she said, with perfect lighting and a $2,000 suit. It wasn't just over the top. It was detached. But the final blow didn't come from Twitter. It came from the FAA. They released an official statement that, in essence, said, none of them were astronauts. You only get that title if you perform safety-critical tasks during the flight. Katy Perry did not. Gail King did not. Lauren Sánchez, also no. They were passengers, period.
The 11-minute space flight that was touted as some kind of divine feminine gift to humanity.
That was one small step for womankind, one giant leap backwards for mankind.
And the memes exploded. People started calling them space tourists in Gucci. Katy's speech about making space turned into a meme genre. Her kissing the ground was photoshopped into war zones, fake documentaries, even alien abduction posters. Wendy's even tweeted, "Can we send her back?" Savage, accurate. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Martha Stewart casually entered the conversation. No drama, no speeches, just a throwback post of her floating in zero gravity back in 2007. No hashtags, no crying, just chill.
I boarded a Boeing 727 aircraft called G-Force One and experienced what astronauts feel when they reach zero gravity.
And that single post hit harder than any roast. Why? Because it was real. Martha didn't try to make it a movement. She floated, smiled, landed, and moved on. The internet compared the two side by side. Katy's campaign looked like $1 billion spectacle. Martha's looked like class. That contrast was devastating.
There's nothing frivolous about what we did. Let's see how it went on board the Blue Origin spacecraft.
Flynn,
I got you. With her Daisy?
I got you, Flynn. The all-female angle was supposed to feel empowering, a symbolic leap forward for women everywhere. But to many, it felt contrived, like a scripted marketing campaign pretending to be a milestone. Instead of celebrating real female astronauts or aerospace engineers, the spotlight went to celebrities floating in designer suits inside a billionaire's high-tech toy. It wasn't the fact that they went to space, it was how they framed it. A photo op dressed in empowerment language. Lauren Sánchez said, "We're all in this together." But with rent prices soaring, grocery bills climbing, and millions facing daily economic pressure, that line landed with a cosmic thud.
I've had so many people reach out to me and say, because you did it, it makes me think I can do it too.
You know, it's so funny. She said she's heard from women and girls who have said to her, "I didn't realize this is something I could do." You know how I know that didn't happen, Megan? Because it's not something they could do, because they're not friends with Jeff Bezos, right? Like, take up space!
Online, people didn't feel inspired, they felt insulted. There's a difference between representation and performance, and this felt like the latter. Real empowerment doesn't come from floating in a capsule with cameras on. It comes from years of dedication, risk, and contribution. This felt more like a space-themed influencer retreat than a legitimate achievement for women in STEM.
I thought it was condescending. It was belittling to women.
Critics didn't hold back. They labeled the entire event as feminism, a blend of faux feminism and fantasy. Feminism filtered through a PR lens. The goal wasn't pushing boundaries. It was collecting applause. Wearing a custom-designed space suit on a rocket you didn't train to operate doesn't make you a pioneer. It makes you a very glamorous passenger. And that's the distinction the internet wasn't willing to ignore. People wanted substance and sincerity, not symbolism wrapped in spectacle. In trying to stage a breakthrough moment, the whole thing broke down into parody, and the internet had front row seats.
Let's not minimize this. Let's celebrate female astronauts.
That's the other thing. There has been female astronauts.
Let's not minimize this.
Take up space! Their message for women was take up space. You guys are taking up too much space already.
Every attempt to salvage the message just made things worse. And the more Katy tried to spin it, the more the internet spun it right back into mockery. Her poetic monologues about love, unity, and the quiet beauty of Earth were clipped, remixed, and layered with laugh tracks. Influencers mocked the tone, comedians turned it into stand-up bits, and even some of her longtime fans admitted it felt more like an overacted audition than a genuine moment. Her empowerment message was intended to uplift, but instead, it triggered a wave of digital eye rolls and became the internet's favorite new punchline. She was no longer being seen as a trailblazer. She was being seen as out of touch, disconnected from the everyday realities most people face. The daisy she clutched so tightly became a symbol not of hope, but of hollow symbolism. Her emotional speeches, meant to stir inspiration, instead stirred confusion. It felt like cosplay, a high-budget, zero-gravity LARP session. And when the FAA stepped in and stripped away the title of astronaut, it didn't just undercut her narrative, it obliterated it. Suddenly, Every Daisy-themed soundbite and gravity-defying selfie felt like set dressing for a role she didn't earn. The foundation of her entire message crumbled in real time. Katy had reached for the stars, but she forgot that authenticity travels farther than altitude. Katy Perry wanted to take up space, but instead of making history, she accidentally took up screen time, and not in a good way. The internet didn't hate that she went to space. It hated how it was packaged, promoted, and pushed onto the public. What was pitched as a pioneering step for womankind felt, to many, like a billionaire-funded PR stunt wearing the costume of empowerment. It wasn't the act, it was the act of selling it. And when Joe Rogan leaned into the mic and asked, what were her findings, the illusion cracked. Because here's the thing, if everything is historic, then nothing is. If posing in a designer suit for an 11-minute autopilot flight qualifies as groundbreaking, what do we call the people who train for years, face real risk, and advance human knowledge in the process? When you blur the lines between legacy and luxury, the meaning behind it all gets lost. Maybe Katy didn't mean for it to go this way. Maybe she just wanted a new chapter, a fresh start, a cosmic reset. But what she got instead was an online identity crisis. One moment she was a pop icon, the next she was the poster girl for space tourism cringe. It's not that people didn't care about her journey, it's that they couldn't relate to the message wrapped around it. She floated through the stars, but the narrative never landed. And once the internet casts you as the main character of the meme cycle, there's no coming back to Earth without turbulence. Her attempt at reinvention became a masterclass in overreach, a reminder that sometimes authenticity resonates more than altitude. Because the truth is, people still care about space. They care about courage, science, and stories that mean something. What they don't care for are overproduced spectacles.
Inside, the lady runs over there real quick, says, no, shuts the door back, tries to stand in front of it.
That was my phone.
I'm no rocket scientist, as they say, but I know the difference between a real rocket returning to Earth, like right here, where Elon Musk's SpaceX, which is an actual serious company doing serious space work, like rescuing astronauts, actual astronauts, catches a rocket with chopsticks. That's actually impressive. That's what an actual rocket returning to Earth's orbit looks like. Charred and violent and beautiful and fiery and smoky and inspiring to the human experience. This is what a fake return
capsule. Those are like
to
the
Earth
guide parachutes.
Looks like.
There go the drogue parachutes.
From fake astronauts
Right
as they scream.
And then next will be the main.
That these brave astronauts who went up into their fake dickhead spacecraft.
1, 2, 3, take it up space!
That they are not astronauts, that it's all fake, it's not real. What do I mean by that? Well, they didn't actually enter orbit. They didn't actually go to space. They didn't actually cross the barrier that would have put them into where satellites and spaceships go. They pretty much just did a really big roller coaster ride. You can do this in planes, for instance, where you go up and then you come down. And you come down so quickly that you get the illusion of weightlessness, which is where you get images like this. Some people think it was filmed in a soundstage. You'd have good reason to think that because, well, we all watched the fake door opening here on the pristine capsule without any burn marks on it, right? Remember, this is what it looks like to actually return from space. This is a major difference in these two rocket ships. One is really just a glorified rocket dick that kind of does what a high-performing supersonic spacecraft does. This is an actual rocket ship from space. This is a plaything for billionaires, which is why Jeff Bezos went out there with this special little tool and fake opened the door, right? After it came down in pristine condition. Notice the door accidentally opened from people on the inside. What's the point? The point is that nobody believes this. Nobody was proud of this moment. Nobody thought that Katy Perry is an astronaut in her little scuba suit there. Nobody believes that she did anything brave. She was simply luggage. Do you understand? Your luggage. Your cargo. You didn't perform any duties. You didn't do anything. You were just luggage. Men built the spacecraft, flew the spacecraft, paid for the spacecraft. You were luggage. That didn't stop Katy Perry from saying this.
I'll tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut. Thank you so much. How do you-
The rest of this TikTok's incredible. Here we go.
I'm officially a firefighter. I'm officially a plumber. I'm officially a surgeon. I'm an electrician.
Hey, excuse me, sir?
Yeah.
Could you tell me what the weather's like today?
Oh, sure. Cool. Looks like it's sunny.
Cool, thanks.
I'm a meteorologist.
Bro, you ready?
Hey, man, before we go, could you give me a sec?
Yeah, what's wrong?
No, I just need to check my heart rate real quick.
Oh, cool.
Okay. I'm a doctor.
Oh.
So, you get the point. And I'll stop monologuing here to get to the good stuff, all right? Because this has had some very bad consequences for the people involved. And then now we reach the second week of this news cycle, and we see the pain that has been caused here. And in a very bad turn, 3.9 million people tuned in to CBS to watch Gail King's fake space ride. The result of the show, CBS gushing and glossy coverage of the all-female spaceflight Monday, managed to move the needle despite earning criticism. CBS News is among several news organizations that forbid anchors and reporters from accepting freebies and gifts. This is a 7-figure space flight. Who paid for it? Nobody knows. Others are calling the carbon and money burning mission a tourist flight for the rich. CBS and Blue Origin, meanwhile, have refused to say whether King was Jeff Bezos' guest. His fiancée, Lauren Sánchez, was part of the expedition. It lasted an entire 11 minutes. They were briefly in space, really just like going up at the absolute pinnacle, the like apex of a big arc, right? That's all that happened. They weren't actually in space. CBS's rating woes on the show's front. This was something that was meant to help erase it, but it didn't. And now, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, including Katy Perry, are saying that they regret all of this. Katy Perry is now regretting the Blue Origin spaceflight as she struggles with continued criticism of her bizarre behavior. We demand to be taken seriously. Oh, please stay. Please stay in space. Jeff Bezos had the right idea. He sent the most insufferable feminists and girl bosses to space, but they came back. Amazon delivery returned. Katy Perry dealt massive blow as singer delivers heartbreaking news days after her Blue Origin spaceflight. Not sure if this has any connection, but here we go. Katy Perry has announced that she's been forced to cancel 2 major shows. A fresh blow for the star. She took to Instagram Monday to confirm the concert in Guadalajara, Mexico on May 1st and 2nd, after the stadium hosting the gigs was not built in time. The pop icon, 40, icon, really? Said, sadly, I learned that the construction of the Arena Guadalajara will not be complete for their scheduled shows next week. Last week, I sent my team to the arena to make sure that if there wasn't anything that we could do to make it happen. I wish I could fix this, but it is beyond my control. You guys mean the world to me. Such a beautiful journey together. I'll create something special for the fans in Guadalajara in the future. I'm sure you will, Katy Perry. Oh, yes, I'm sure you will. Maybe you can fly over them in your space astronaut ship. You're such an astronaut. The pair of Guadalajara shows were supposed to come during Katy Perry's stop in the packed Mexican leg of her Lifetime's world tour. 3 concerts in Mexico City and 2 in Monterrey. She's then set to kick off her U.S. tour in Houston before performing 25 times in the country. Trips to Australia and Canada. Her subsequent European leg will include a trip to the O2 with 2 shows in October. Okay. Bad news comes after Katy Perry joined Gail King and Lauren Sánchez and a film producer and activist. Okay. Activist. She's an astronaut. On an all-female Blue Origin fleet headed to space last week. They didn't go to space. Despite their seemingly harmless intentions, the optics of the mission have since been described as tone-deaf and embarrassing. Following the backlash, it seemed the Roar singer has been experiencing a second thoughts of her flight, saying that she regrets going. Katy doesn't regret going to space. It was life-changing. What she does regret is making a public spectacle out of it. Oh, really? Katy Perry, completely roasted. Here's her saying she's canceled. She's canceled everything. Katy Perry takes the mantle from Meghan Markle as the world's most annoying person. So I don't know. Is this being canceled because nobody wanted to show up? I mean, I assume it would be pretty easy to check. Really, like, kind of weird that the stadium isn't built. So you booked a concert at a stadium that wasn't built? Somebody explain that to me? Not bad planning. Not as dumb as calling yourself an astronaut. Everybody's saying that this was fake. They say that it was their fake hair. They say this is what an astronaut's hair actually looks like in space. And that's exactly right, because this is what actual weightlessness does, right? This is what it actually looks like when you don't have your hair tied back. This is what true weightlessness does to your hair. This is not. This looks like Katy Perry's on a windy day. Can we send her back? Imagine coming back and being roasted by Wendy's. Imagine being ratioed by Wendy's in your little scuba suit. These little suits are so obnoxious. I kissed the ground and I liked it. Oh, man. Oh, boy. This news cycle should never end. I could go on. Listen, I just think that it's a moment where people are so done with insufferable girl boss feminists out of Hollywood. We're so done with celebrity culture. People are ready for real and reality. They're ready for Elon Musk saving actual astronauts in space. And we're done with this. And we're not going to celebrate it anymore just because you tell us to.